This is the September 27th, 2021, 5 o'clock PM meeting of the Marketing Committee of the Troy Community Land Bank.
Okay, I'm calling to order this meeting of the Marketing Committee of the Troy Community Land Bank. It is 5:05 and I will call the roll. Andrew Cooper,
Here.
Jeanette Nicholson,
Here?
and myself, Suzanne Spellin. And with us is Tony Tazi.
Here,
Yep, okay.
Did Heather check in by any chance? I do remember she wanted to give us some kind of input.
I emailed her today and she's down in, she's taken the day off, basically down in Mohegan Sun. I think,
Good
where
for
it is.
her.
I think that's where it is.
Okay. Did we get a chance to read the review the minutes from July 22nd?
I did.
I did.
I
Me
can't
too.
say I recall the meeting at all, but they look fine to me. I'll motion that we approve them.
Yeah. So is there a motion to approve?
I
I'll
will
make a
motion.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay.
Okay.
However you
all in
wanna do it.
favor? Aye.
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 Yeah. Okay, minutes are approved. Our first topic of business is our real estate broker situation.
So I think everybody knows where we're at with this. Nothing's really changed with the broker we have now. It's not coming to A&D meetings.
Did we
I
get
get
a new
no
one?
communication. What's that?
Do we get a new one?
Well, the choices are to either select someone who responded to the RFP in the first place, or to release another RFP.
Well, there's no selling any property without one, correct?
Well, we could do it like we did in the old days by word of mouth. That didn't work very well. But yeah, I mean, to be practical about it, I think we need a broker so we can get things listed on the MLS.
Yeah, and less work
Yeah.
for you.
Well, and especially for, more valuable properties.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta cast a wider net. It's not, it's not worth it. So it sounds like we need to just do a new RFP.
But Andrew, if we do
think.
that, it'll be like for days, right? I mean, don't we need somebody yesterday?
we need someone, I think we need someone sooner than later. So the choices are, we could either select the woman whose name I can't remember, who's the ex-trooper and went into
Yeah,
real estate.
I remember, I don't remember her name, but I remember her.
Yeah, or Sherry Caravelli, who was the person who was kind of coordinating 24 McClelland, that I sent photos around about. So the choice would be select either one of those two, or release a new RFP.
Well, could we talk to both of them and see if they're still interested? Because they might not be.
Well, I
Would
know
we?
Sherry
yeah.
is, because
Okay.
I communicated with her, about McClelland Avenue, because there's some paperwork that the buyer has got a little bit messed up. She's trying to fix. The other one, I am not sure about. I haven't been in contact with her.
Are we in a position where we'll take whoever would agree? Like, is that, like, so that's, because we don't know, well, I guess we do know about her, but not about the second. And I don't know if anyone has a preference between those two, if those are our choices. But are we at a place where we would, neither one significantly impressed us previously, if I recall, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So, but would we say, well, we just need, it's more important to have somebody? And I guess my follow-up to that would be, how long would a commitment be?
Well, there'd be
It's an at
two,
will arrangement, right? So,
well, not quite. There'd be an agreement that Kate would draft up and it would say, sorry, and it would say, it'd be a 12-month, I think it would be a 12-month agreement. And it would say either party can terminate with 30 days notice or something like that. But then there's also an MLS, the standard MLS agreement that I would sign. And that gives them exclusive rights for 6 months, if that's the way it's written.
and so are we out of the 6 month on our first guy?
Sorry, I don't know why my doorbell keeps going off. So the exclusive 6-month period expired a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
We still do have the other contract that, well, it's got to be about 6 months old.
Yeah.
Does he know we're not happy?
Well, that was the purpose of my sitting down with him, so he definitely knows. And, you know, as I said, not only has not much changed, but when I talked to him and he said, yep, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll do that. And I sent an email to him saying, okay, can you tell me when you're gonna do this and start doing it? No reply at all to the email.
He's toast.
Yeah, well, so I guess, I mean, right, step one is we're cutting him loose because we want that 30-day notice to start as soon as we can, right?
I think it's a 30-day notice.
Yeah,
but
or whatever it is. If there's any length of time, we need to start that clock, I think, right, like tomorrow,
agree.
right?
I
Yes,
agree.
Um,
I'm not sure why we haven't done it before if the guy has been so non-responsive. I mean, that's just crazy. You know, it's not like we can go out and do this stuff ourselves. So if we have to rely on somebody who's actually has some movement in their in their endeavors, I would, well, anyway, I don't want to keep raging on here, but it just, the sooner the better, kick his butt out and get somebody in there who can at least get us on MLS.
I don't
No, I
know
could-
why he took the job because he hasn't done anything.
I could be wrong. The only agreement may be the MLS 6-month. I'm going through my file of executed agreements for this year, and I'm only coming up with that.
So we
well,
we
then
can
cut him
terminate.
loose.
Yeah. I mean, we terminated Greg with, post haste.
Yeah, so that would take a recommendation by marketing committee and action by the board.
Well, I think we're making that
make-
recommendation. Do we need to vote on it? You can, as a
Yeah, for
committee?
something like this, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to go ahead?
What am I saying? I
You're making
move
a
that we
motion.
terminate all agreements as quickly as possible with our current real estate broker. Pending clarification of whatever timeline there may be, but
I second, and for all intents and purposes, it's Irv Ackerman, is that?
yeah, or right, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, let's name the fellow and make it crystal clear.
I didn't remember his name, which is why I didn't say it. Thank you.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
I,
So,
Okay,
and that's a
motion passed.
recommendation to the board, right? Who then has to vote on it.
yeah, so I'll draft something up.
but that, Tony, if that means it has to go to the board, well, I don't know. It's just like,
Well,
Well,
it's
we
gonna-
can, we
can
can recommend
still
at the
start
same
voting.
time next steps, right?
What's that?
We can recommend whatever next step at the same time. We don't have to wait for that to be,
Oh, yeah, you definitely can.
so,
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Because
that.
what you would be doing is recommending either to do another RFP or recommend another broker.
So if anyone remembers better than I do, the woman that you worked with on whatever street that was, she was the one that had the other people in her firm who were kind of very wonderfully airy-fairy about
Yeah,
everything, you know,
My-
and then the other woman, the one who used to be a state trooper, she was a more of a kind of high heels and you know, Louis Vuitton purse kind of person, or the other people in her firm were.
yeah, my recollection was, we had someone that knew Troy, but was brand new to real estate.
That's a state trooper, correct?
Yeah, and,
Okay.
and I've also heard from someone who used her recently that it was not a good experience. Someone we all know, by the way. I just don't want to put her name out there. And
Tony,
the other team knows real estate, but they didn't really know North Central.
who is the person, what was the recommendation of the person that is known to us? I didn't quite
Well,
understand.
They just relayed to me that they had at least one real estate transaction that she coordinated that just didn't go well. She was very unhappy with her.
Is that the state trooper person?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my recollection was that I wasn't impressed by the attitude of the trooper, and then I was not impressed by the experience of the other. Not experienced. They were experienced, but they seemed inexperienced. Like
They
They-
were
of the other
very
group, but I
kind of
like them.
naive.
I like their attitude. They seemed
I
more
found them
personal.
kind of naive.
Yeah, naive is a good word for it. Yeah.
I think when it came to North Central issues, they were naive and maybe some of the issues that go along with that kind of a neighborhood. But I think as far as the team they had stitched together, I mean, I thought they were pretty much primetime, a primetime real estate group. So and seeing what happened at 24 McClelland, you know, I definitely think they have the expertise to do what we need. They just need to understand the needs of, you know, a low-income neighborhood and its residents and the problems that they have to live with. That's where I think, to me, that's where they fell short. I'm not sure how you guys recollect the interview.
Are the fee structures the same, Tony?
I don't know. I don't remember that part.
I want to say that the group was slightly better in some regard. I can't recall how, any detail, than the,
Talking about the fee structure of the group.
yeah,
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 I
I
mean,
kind of vaguely remember that as well.
yeah, I wish I could be more precise, but I mean, you know, if we were to take a vote now, I would lean to them over the trooper.
Yeah,
I think it's a roll of the dice anyway. Like, I mean, and as we saw with Irv, someone can, you know, present in a way that is not in any way reflective of what it turns out they are. So I don't know.
I agree.
yeah, I do too. I would be willing to give them a shot, because I think if we issue another RFP, you know, it's just going to take forever.
Yeah, it's a long time or if we try to rush it, it may not result in anything, you know.
And in the meantime, at least maybe we can get some results. At least have it up on, you know, stuff up on MLS. I mean, even as it is, by the time the board gets to it and approves it, you know, when's the next board meeting, Tony? Not sometime in October?
Third Wednesday in October is when it's normally scheduled. We could
So,
call,
you know, geez Louise,
we
can
could call a
we-
special if we needed to.
is there any way to expedite it? I mean.
Well, yeah, a
October.
special meeting. I know. And both buildings should be done before the next board meeting.
So that's Winnie and McClellan or,
Winnie and 54 Fifth Ave.
oh, okay.
So,
Well, if that's
Cavallaro,
possible,
what's that?
if, you know, if we can get the board to move, to look at the recommendation of canning Irv and hiring whoever these other folks are, I don't even remember their names. Let's see if we can get that to fly and get them on board as soon as possible.
Sherry Cavallaro is with Howard Hanna. And her rates were 6%. Residential list of all of them, 6%. A minimum of $2,500 for a residential building, $1,500 for vacant land, $2,500 for commercial, $1,500 for vacant land. And so that the $1,500 minimum for vacant lots is the same that we were charged by Greg. And it always was a bad feeling for me because it's like we sell them for 1,000 and we have to give the broker 1,500.
Were they, I feel like one of them, one of the three, and I couldn't say which one, acknowledged that
Yeah.
their fee structure was their sort of standard boilerplate. And they said, but, you know, we realize that if you're selling lots for $1,500 or $1,000, that we'll have to revisit that. I felt like they were open to a discussion. I don't remember which one it was, but one of
I
them
think it was the one that we're contemplating. That's my recollection, is that somewhere in there, I guess after we talked to them, after we interviewed them, I think she came back to Tony and maybe said, you know, we could negotiate this. Is that anywhere close to true, Tony?
I have a recollection of that, not crystal clear. But I mean, when you think about it, all they're gonna do is put a vacant lot on the MLS. They're not gonna take anyone over there to see it. So they're not.
Yeah, I know. They're
So,
They're not doing any much.
so I mean, if you guys wanted to make a recommendation, you could include like a condition that the lots, you know, be sold.
Well, I mean, I don't know. So I would follow that up with, what if they say, no, it is what it is? Does that mean we wouldn't want them? Because how many lots do we have? And if it costs $500 to get rid of a lot compared to, you know, we just sold a $75,000 property, do we care about, like, I agree with you, like, it doesn't sit well with, like, we're paying someone to sell something to someone and we get nothing. we lose money, but we lose money on stuff anyway. So
You could make the recommendation and then I could check and then I could report to the board. And then the board can, you know, obviously, I think if the board wanted to take up your recommendation in general, and they know that the broker is not going to take it, if the price is reduced, then I suspect the board's going to say, okay, well, we'll swallow the bullet and we'll lose $500 per lot, or we'll start selling lots for $1,500 instead of $1,000.
yeah, I mean, I just would say, I think our recommendation would be that we go with them if that's what we're doing. And then certainly we should try to negotiate that if we can, but if we can't, it doesn't change anything. Right? Like, I just don't like whatever. I don't know that it's worth holding up the process if it came to that, right?
Yeah, or cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, how many lots do we have left that we're not land banking anyway?
A
One.
few. One?
Well, with that, we're not land banking. 140 President Street is land banked. 3154 Sixth Ave, which is where that 4-story building was approved. That's technically off the market because it's been approved for sale. And everything else is land banked.
So it's really almost a non-issue.
Yeah, for now anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, who
that's
knows what
true.
could come, but
That's true.
Well, I move that the committee approve offering the Howard Hanna firm the contract.
With any
second.
stipulation about, I know it's a non-issue now in terms of vacant lots, but let's say, cross our fingers, they actually work out to be great realtors. Do we want to see if we can negotiate the sale of vacant lots? Just, I mean, if we don't try, we won't know. If they just come back and say, what are you, crazy? Then we don't have to take the deal off the table. We just bite the bullet. But it seems like a worthy thing to at least put forward.
Well, if you wanted to do that as a condition, again, I can check with the broker, report back to the board. And then I guess one of three things will happen. Either Kate will say, you can't do that because this was a publicly bid document. But I think she was part of that interview. Or if the broker says, I won't take less than $1,500 for a lot,
Right,
the board could reject the contract, or they could accept the contract.
right.
Or A&D can simply start a policy that if you want to buy a vacant lot from us,
Come to
the
us.
price needs to be $2,000 minimum because we also have closing costs, which are about $650 or $450 for a lot.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I think the
actually-
only condition is that we want it to be part of the discussion with them, but not that it, it's
Yeah, it's not a
like an
hill we're gonna
expectation.
die on.
If we can include that in further discussions, we should. And if we can, or they don't want to talk about it, okay, fine. I mean, I don't know that if it leads to another round of discussion or voting or approval, then I don't think we should do it. Like, it's just, hey, can we bring this up? And we talk to them, and if so, great, let's do it. And if not, then not,
Maybe the simple thing is just for A&D to have a policy, $2,000 per lot.
Yeah, or, yeah, depending on what they say, then we have other, as an alternative to not proceeding, we have other alternatives, like you say, raise the price of the,
And if there's a troublesome lot for some reason that we just want to get rid of, maybe in some circumstances, it would be in our best interest to sell at a loss.
yeah, because
Yeah.
we sell all sorts of things at losses. So, like, it wouldn't be the first or last time.
Yeah, yeah. We're the
Yeah.
only bank I know with no money.
It's just the principle of, I understand that. The principle
Yeah.
of we walk away from a sale with less money than we went into it and no property.
Yep.
But, oh, well, that's
Yeah. I
arguably the
think-
cost of doing business. The main metric of our work isn't always, at least, profit. I think it needs to be sometimes.
Yeah, well,
If
we
you care to
still have,
continue working.
we still have to survive, yeah.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that, but
Yeah, I think in terms of, moving forward quickly, and since we have 2 properties coming up, we should, do as much as we can to move it forward. Offer these people the opportunity and revisit the vacant land at an appropriate time. But yeah, I don't see $2,000 for a plot of land is not a lot. So even I can afford that. So, I don't think if we choose to do that, it's the end of the world. Or if we let go of one lot and we lose $500 on it, that's not the end of the world either.
No, because we stopped paying insurance,
Yeah.
so.
yeah. All right, so are we clear then on our recommendation? Did we already
Yeah, I think we
approve
voted.
that I think we already approved that recommendation, and in case it wasn't clear, I think it is now.
Yeah. So basically, the recommendation is for the board to accept Howard Hanna as our broker.
As long as they're still interested at the previous terms.
Okay.
So along with that, the next topic was marketing 11
You
Winnie
guys,
and-
you guys haven't actually
Oh, we
motioned.
haven't? Did we?
I thought we did, but we can do it again.
Yep.
Well,
I
I
move that
heard
we
you,
accept Howard Hanna's proposal as submitted 6 months ago or whenever it was.
okay,
I'll second.
Second.
Jeanette started first.
Okay. Well, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, all right, thanks for
Motion passed.
clarifying that.
Okay, marketing those two properties, 11 Winnie and 54 Fifth. So they are both completed now?
No, well, 11 Winnie was very, very close to being completed until things started walking away.
Yeah.
So, so now what we need to do is have a furnace installed, 2 water heaters installed. Damage that was done to by the break-ins, which is not extensive. Install a new countertop and sink. And code enforcement, I was under the impression that to get a CO, you had to have, this is what the international building code requires, but apparently not New York State. Refrigerator, something to cook on, which could be a 1 burner, and a sink. But code enforcement says you simply need to have heat, water, hot water, electricity.
Great.
So we don't, but conversely or inversely, we don't need the appliances of a refrigerator, a stove, or a dishwasher.
Great.
That would probably help the sale if we did have them.
Oh, it would, yeah. Just worried about putting brand new appliances in,
And also the
Yeah.
time frame to get them.
yeah, that's a pretty good issue because I know it's like impossible to get things quick.
Is it worth considering getting the appliances and not actually putting them in there and having them somewhere more secure? It's just promising to put them in
That crossed my mind.
upon
but-
sale.
That crossed my mind, but there's still the time factor. There's no way you could order,
Well, no, yeah, we should order and have them. I gotta let the dog out. Give me 1 second.
But Andrew, well, doesn't it seem crazy though, if I'm gonna buy a new house or a house? I mean, when I bought the house I'm currently in, which is a 2-family, I didn't keep the appliances that were here. It wasn't even close to what I wanted, so.
no one does.
Right, so I'm not sure, I get that you think that it may enhance the sale, but well, I'm not convinced that that's the case because I would say if it was a new house just being built, frequently maybe those appliances are in there, especially if it's a high-end sort of sale. But I'm not sure it's worth the risk of trying to get new appliances in there when in fact whatever we may buy may not be what the current owner wants.
Yeah, but you're talking about a home that's going to someone of a modest to lower income, probably modest anyway. They may not, be able to buy appliances. And
Well, then they can't buy the freaking house. I mean, that's crazy, Suzanne, if you can't.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
all the expenses can, depending on how they finance, can be rolled into their mortgage and then,
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't sound like kind of a high risk loan, but I'm not the bank. I don't know. So I'm sort of, yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know, if it's a newly renovated house, I would expect it to have appliances if I was buying. But I don't know. I mean,
If only we had someone who was showing the house and could give us feedback on that.
yeah, what a
I mean,
concept.
that's sort of right. Like that's a role of the
But maybe we should, I mean, you know, Heather flips houses. Maybe we should just ask her what she thinks.
Yeah, I think that's a good, I mean, that's sort of what
Also,
I'm saying. It'd be nice to have some further input from,
yeah. Also, if
people
you tell
who know.
people, you know, well, why don't we have appliances, and it comes out that that's because people stole them, that they're not going to buy the house anyway.
I had that same thought. It doesn't present the house well.
I
Although,
mean,
reasonably,
will
well, nobody's living here now. It's empty. It's
yeah, will
you know,
the house have some kind of a security system anyway, just as part of what we are offering?
Well, the last security system they stole on me.
But was that a real security system, or
Well, I thought it was, it had a motion detector that kicked on a high decibel alarm and a strobe light in the front upstairs window. And I just assumed that no one's gonna stick around with something like that going off. But I assumed wrong. What do they say about
So
the
it-
word assume?
Yeah.
when they robbed us the last time, it went off and they just ignored it, or what
Yeah.
happened?
Oh, yeah, well, it wasn't the last time. It was a couple times ago. Well, it was the first time they broke in after the alarm was set there. And I also had 3 little spy cameras that just didn't work. They broke in. They took, I don't know, I've lost track of what appliances they taken when. I've got it in a report. But they took whatever they took, and they took both motion detectors and the alarm and one of the spy cameras. The spy cameras, their motion, they get set off by motion. And apparently you have to get very close to them to set them off. Because I had both cameras and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm gonna find somebody on these. And it's like, there's nothing there. Then I went back and read the Amazon reviews about the cameras, and some of the negative reviews said you really have to be very close to kick the cameras into turning on. So,
Okay. So what can we do until we get a broker? Or what's the time frame for whatever we're calling done?
the time frame for the broker or
Well,
for,
no.
Or when could we list ideally?
Yeah, that's the question.
No, it doesn't mean we have someone to list them, but when could it happen?
well, Johnny Bobo told me he'd have 11 Winnie finished the end of this month or the beginning of October. Seat was kind of slow going for a long time, and they were waiting for Russ Reeves to get some stuff in, and that was part of the reason. But then, so after that, they were making progress, but it was just like one guy in there every day. But all of a sudden, it's just progressed very quickly. So I think, and George Brower did tell me this a while back, that within 60 days it would be done. And I think by the end of October, it will be done. They're putting down the hardwood floors now. The kitchen appliances are all set. There's a back hallway that needed to be cleaned up a little bit. The front door needs to be reconfigured.
Is that crappy door they put in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Most of it's been painted. And I'm talking about probably 10 days ago when I was last in there. So they're pretty darn close.
Okay. Do we
Well, it
need,
sounds to me like right about the time the board's gonna meet and we can hopefully agree to offer a contract to the new broker, that it'll be ready to list.
yeah, that's what it's sounding like.
Yeah, it'll be close whether we have a contract in place beforehand or shortly thereafter.
Yeah, so, I mean, is there, besides turning it over to the experts, then at that time, is there any, like, anything else we need to,
Well, we can't
Decide?
really, we could do a teaser on Facebook, but then there's nobody to contact except us. And we may not want to do that.
Well, and also Richard did make the offer to post things to help us market the buildings to first-time homebuyers who will reside there for 5 years. That was what his email said. And I had to reply back to him and say, well, you can't say that because it's not a requirement. That doesn't mean that's not who we would want. We always would want that, and hopefully we will certainly get that. And I think with the turnkey building, it's even more possible. But I had to say, you just can't say that these are the requirements when there's a process. Somebody has to fill out a purchase application. They have to go through A&D. A&D may very well want to sell it in exactly the terms you're stating, Richard, but they may not. And so you can't go on Facebook and say, these are the rules when they're really not.
I would be much more happy if Richard was not involved.
Well, that's why you hire a broker, right?
Yeah, I mean, after we hire a broker and it's listed, and if he wants to, shop it around, that's lovely. But I don't want his fingers in our stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think his heart's in the right place on this, but
Yeah, I don't doubt that, but
it's just good. I think it's going to blow up,
yeah.
not intentionally, but
So is there anything we can do to market it without a broker? I mean, we can't list it on MLS.
well, we could put it on the website. Suzanne, our favorite Facebook writer, could say it's available. When it's available.
Or I can say coming soon and have a picture of it and any other pictures from the interior that might be good teasers, but
That's true.
I'd have to write all over it. It's not available yet, it's not listed yet, but stay tuned.
Yeah, and I
On
can
our, on
post
the,
it on the
on
website.
the, on the land bank's website? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and on Facebook.
Huh.
Um, yeah, and I could talk to Sherry and, in advance of anything formally happening and ask her, is there a way for us to kind of get the word out there?
Is there something, can we do this like for sale by owner kind of thing? Can you get on MLS doing it that way at all, Tony? Do you know, or?
To the best of my knowledge, you can't get on MLS unless you're a New York State licensed real estate broker,
Uh-huh, okay.
which is why the word of mouthing was so challenging.
Right.
You can advertise it on Zillow. I don't know how, I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I know people do that these days. It's kind of become the digital for sale by owner rendition. But
Well, I think everything seems to be predicated upon getting a broker, or at least the agreement from the broker that they would want to be with us, and the details get worked out later. Am I wrong?
well, I guess you know, I could, when I check with the broker and to ask if they're still interested in, I'm pretty sure they are. I could say, hey, just get ready to jump on these two as soon as you possibly can, because
Yeah,
they
I
may
think they'd
be,
be happy to have that coming up.
yeah, that's true, yeah.
Okay,
But they also maybe, if, you know, if they're open to, without having an agreement, which certainly that's 100% up to them, wanting to do anything, we also could ask them. So if you're having that conversation, I'd suggest asking them about the appliances and what their thoughts are, one way or the other, in terms of how quickly it would sell, with or without, whether it changes pricing. And I wouldn't expect significantly, but, you know, and also might give us a sense whether they need some guidance around the likely market. And, you know, to Jeanette's point about, well, or actually over Suzanne, I don't know, I forget who said what about whether people would or wouldn't expect to have appliances or could or
Yeah.
couldn't buy their own appliances. And if that's something that hasn't even occurred to them, maybe then that'd be a good opportunity just to say, hey, well, this is part of what the work might look like for some of these properties, is, you know, having that perspective about potential buyers, that they're not
yeah. I
they're
know
not
a
coming
lot
in
of
with a
people-
$15,000 decoration budget, and, you know,
Right.
they're going to come in with what's there, and that's sort of what they might expect.
I know a lot of people sell homes without appliances. And they just, you know, they show you the hookup, and everybody go, "Great, I got a hookup. I don't, you know, I don't have to call a plumber." But I don't know what the market generally, you know, what market that is or is not.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't. I mean,
I could also call a couple places to ask how, if I wanted to buy a refrigerator, dishwasher, and a stove, what's the lead time?
yeah,
Because that's a factor.
And is there anything that we as a public authority slash nonprofit that we're, you know, all of our grand little plans here, is there anything that we're going to run afoul of that Kate says you can't do that?
Well, when we were talking about recommending a condition to the board, that you know, as I was talking about that, I also was thinking, this is a publicly bid document, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kate said you can't negotiate something that's been publicly bid out and, you know, responded to. So, and the more I think of that, the more I believe it.
Which case?
yeah,
our
that's the
response-
interesting.
Yeah.
That does have a certain weight. But then I'm thinking, well, so no, you could never change a contract without reopening it for open public bidding? Like nothing
Well,
can
you would
change?
have to start a brand new RFP process. So like, for
Yeah.
instance, 791 River Street, what was the price on that? $417,000, I think. So we had 3 bids, and we selected the guy at 417. And Kate said over and over again, there can be no change orders on this because it's a publicly bid document. Unless something out of the blue happens that could not have been anticipated when the RP went out. But it's not like you can say, okay, we're gonna give you the low bid, but we want you to take $100,000 off of what you just bid on. Or we
Yeah,
want
I
you
mean,
to-
certainly that's a thing. I mean, I know with us, we do annual contracts, and they have 2 options. One is to, you know, negotiate the new contract. So maybe we're looking at after 6 months, if that's the agreement, we can have a new agreement. Ours don't have to be public. We can
think
just
that's-
repropose every year with non-competitive, basically. And there's
Yeah,
still a
that's-
negotiation. So that might be, again, I don't know if my job translates. We're not public authorities, but we're
Yeah,
bidding on public contracts, so
I think
it
that's a
might be
different
something like
kettle of
that.
fish.
So maybe after 6 months, we say, all right, you sold 1 lot, and we really like to look at this again because now we have 3 more lots or whatever. Like, again, it may not be an issue if we're not even selling lots. So I don't know. And I don't know that it, I
You
didn't
know,
think I was saying it was a condition.
No, those were- those
we
were
would
my words.
mention it.
Those were my words.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm comfortable if we have to it's not bringing it up at all. Like, I think it shouldn't stand in the way of moving forward.
Here, here.
Yeah, right.
So have we exhausted this for now? The next topic, the last topic, is the website update.
Yeah, so I shot you guys an email as to what's causing the holdup, and it's money. First of all, Berta was doing a lot of the interaction between Vibrant Brands and us. Early on, she had me a little worried because she was taking the bull by the horns, and I didn't know where she was going with it, but she definitely knew her stuff. So the issue right now is we don't have a lot of money in the checking account, and when they have a site ready to go, like to go live as far as testing, then I think that's the point where we have to fork over $5,000. And I'm just getting really, we're gonna apply for a community loan fund loan, which will make our cash flow a much better world to live in. But until we receive those funds, we are gonna be kind of doing the financial doggy paddle until we get there. So I'm worried about spending any money
And
until.
that fee that was expected and planned. That's just how it worked. Okay.
Yeah, it was $5,000 for them to start and 5,000 to, I believe, have the site go live.
At first publish or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know where they are in terms of almost being there, or did they stop because they knew they weren't going to get any more money right
No,
now?
oh no, they don't know that. They don't know what our cash flow situation
Oh,
is.
okay.
They were at the point where they were asking us for, all the content they need to build to really fill in the site, which they have gotten a bunch of. There's probably still some more that they need to get, but I think I could check in with them, but I think at this point they have an awful lot of information to move forward with. I guess
Okay.
what I would ask them is, what else have we not gotten to you that you need?
Or maybe just a general time frame without saying anything about,
Rope?
anything. Because if, they got all the info, but they're still a year out, then that's not good.
Yeah. Are they? I don't recall what sort of schedule they were on in terms of our expectations or their promises of this process. Where do they stand with?
Well, I think everyone expected it to have been completed by now, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't know if their contract had a defined timeline. Might have.
I think it did have a timeline, but
Yeah,
I don't recall what
If
it
not,
was.
why not? There should have-
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't recall
Yeah.
there being.
I feel like there was. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I would have raised that. I feel like I would have
There was
raised
some
that as
kind
a
of a,
big question.
there was some kind of a time frame that they said they could have it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that if we can't pay them to finish, I don't know that it's an issue that we want to raise. I was just curious.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. I'm looking at their proposal. And it breaks things down. It says approximate timeline, 3 to 5 months.
Well, then it's long past due.
Yeah, but that's, if we don't give them what they need to do it, that's not their fault.
Right.
And I also know that they did the Cohoes IDA and LLC's website. And I remember Kate saying it took a lot longer than they anticipated.
Then they should know better at this point. I'm just being silly. I don't really, it doesn't,
Yeah, it always takes longer than you think.
yeah,
but-
it always does. And
but
yet,
there comes
no
a
one ever
point when you
learns.
should- where you should know that it's gonna take longer and then you
No.
double what you tell people
So
so
we're
you
not,
don't get yourself in trouble.
You know,
if you
So
get it
then you
done
get,
early,
then
you're
you,
a
then you
rock
lose
star.
the bid is the problem.
we contracted November 2020,
Okay,
so
So we're a
that's
year.
going on a year, yeah.
I mean, the unfortunate thing about our land bank is that everything takes so much longer than we say it's going to, and it's hard to defend sometimes. And I know that every single thing has a good reason why it takes longer or costs more, but the optics are not good, and unfortunately we can't do anything about it because it's money and we don't have any.
And people are running for city council.
I'm not even talking about them. I mean,
I know.
it's the curse of being a nonprofit. But anyway,
Okay, well, I'll contact Rick Vibrant and ask him what more he needs to finish. So,
if we get the community loan program, when would that be, give or take?
their board meets in October. I'm not sure. Well, of course, they meet probably every month. I'm not sure exactly what date I was told. But I do know that the person I'm working with, who's been terrific to work with, has been telling me that the information he's gotten from us is more than he's gotten from other applicants. And he's been very good hand-holding me to make sure that, he keeps getting what he needs. So, so I just don't know. I just don't remember what the date was that he told me. And
What's the
hope,
amount of the loan, Tony?
what's the amount?
Yeah,
What I put in today was $225,000.
wow.
And actually it was applying for this application turned out to be very helpful because I had to essentially do a pretty detailed cash flow analysis. And it showed some really good things. Bad as things are now, they're probably going to get very, very, very much better. If some of the initiatives we've been talking to the city and others about move forward. And the LCAP, the Legacy City Access Program, turns out to be, successful.
That'll be great.
Then our problem will be quite the opposite. How do we spend all this much money?
Oh, I'm sure we'll work on that really.
Yeah, that
quickly.
one,
Nice
Yeah.
problem to have.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to be around when that happens.
So Richard Herrick or somebody on Facebook said that the city doesn't have any buildings anymore on its foreclosure list. They sold them all, or either gave them to us or sold them to other people.
Well, that might be. City council at their September meeting approved the transfer of all the properties that I had on the last list I submitted to them. So, so they're coming our way. There is one building that's on that list that I have asked several times to get in to see on Dow Street. And I just haven't gotten anybody at the city to say, yep, let's set up a time and we'll get you in. So, and I actually emailed that request again today.
That's
So-
how properties on our assemblage list.
Yeah, it would be if it's not too far gone. There are holes in the roof. Looks like there may have been a fire because the holes look like they're very rectangular.
Okay.
So I'm just not sure how long ago it happened or, really what the interior conditions are. And New York State Homes and Community Renewal, when they did their webinar on this LCAP program, suggested that we include in the bundles low-hanging fruit. So, a developer doesn't have to take on extreme buildings. And I'm just not sure what this building looks like. But 785 River Street will be part of that bundle. So if they're going to acquire two horrible properties, then that might really scare them away.
What's the Dow Street address?
24 or 36. It's right next to Community Gardens.
Oh,
It's a really attractive 3-story brick building
I
until
think
you
it's
fly a drone over it.
for some reason or another, I thought that building was up for a private sale some time ago, but the guy actually backed out because of, I think the interior is not particularly good. I think it's
And that's exactly why I'd like to get in to see it.
pretty far gone.
Well, the city did not have it on the last property disposition list. I happened to find it as a city-owned building. And I put it on a list with full expectations that the city would get me in to see it for sure before the city council acted. And the fact that I haven't been able to get in there has me that much more worried. So the bottom line is I just need to go in and see the building.
Okay. So, when should we meet again?
Your call.
Well, what would be the purpose of the meeting other than perhaps an update on the website and whether or not, we have a realtor? Is there anything else of substance that we would need to meet about?
Well, assuming we have a realtor by next month, I guess the topic would be, devising strategies with them as to, how we can help them market, as the land bank marketing committee. That kind of stuff.
And if we get a response on the loan in the next month,
Yeah, we need to
to
goose-
proceed with the website
Yeah,
or
we really
whatever
need
needs to be done
boost
there.
them.
Yeah, without any dollars, we're not going to be doing much.
Yeah,
I feel like we should schedule a meeting in case those things happen, and if they don't, we don't have to have it, we could cancel it.
yeah, we could always cancel it.
Want to say about a
Um,
month from now?
Yeah, I would say probably after the monthly meeting, Does that seem-
Definitely.
right? So that, because they need to approve, we hope, or we need to approve, offering the contract to the new
Recommendation.
broker. Then that happens hopefully within 12 hours.
will.
And then, so then maybe the next week, like the last week of October.
Yeah, how about the
follow up.
25th, which is the last Monday?
Same time, same
Yep,
station?
yep.
Let me just look and see if I've got anything. Probably works for me, at least as of now.
Yep.
Me too.
Tony?
Oh, yeah, that will work for me. I'm just trying to figure out how the calendar works.
Yeah, if,
October
if we-
25th, 5 o'clock.
if we end up postponing our board meeting until the 27th, then we can reschedule it.
Well, Tony, are we gonna ask the board to have a special meeting about the Realtor thing so we can get on that sooner or not?
We can do that. The boards, I mean, all you guys have always been very gracious and coming together when needed to have a meeting on short notice. So,
I mean, it'd be a short meeting.
yeah, oh, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So let me talk to Heather, because she's obviously the chair, and make sure she's comfortable with it, but,
Okay, great. That would maybe get us a little in front of the 8 ball as opposed to behind it.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I'm looking at 36 Dow. That's the 3-story building. Gorgeous building from the outside, but I remember walking past it a couple weeks ago and you could see the roof.
yeah,
You could see through the roof up to the sky.
that's what I meant.
Like
I
through the
flew-
window, through the florist and out the roof is what you're saying?
Yeah, the roof is toast.
I have pictures of the roof from the drone.
So it's probably just a shell is what we're looking at.
Well, I
Yeah.
just don't know, that's what
It's
I'm
way
worried about.
down.
That's probably what it is, but,
It's way down behind Jack's, behind the ambulance company, going towards the river.
it's actually not too far from 785 River. You can throw a rock in the alley and hit both buildings. But then they fall down.
Yeah, don't throw any rocks.
It's too bad. It's a gorgeous building from the outside.
That's what attracted me to it. Just sending-
Anyway.
Just sending you guys a calendar invite. So that's locked in place.
Well, if Heather agrees to a special meeting, maybe we could also, there's nothing we need to do then, right, Tony? If the board if Heather agrees that a special meeting to get us a broker will work, once the board approves that, is there any reason that the marketing committee needs to meet after that? Just, do we need
don't
a
think
special
so.
meeting before? If,
I don't think,
No,
I
don't
think, I think you've done what you would need to do. I mean,
Oh,
you've made
great, great,
recommendations.
just making sure.
So I think what Andrew said before was the logical sequence. The board takes action, we contract with someone to be the broker. And then the next meeting, sounds like you guys want to have a conversation with them. So you know how they're gonna market. So they can say, here's how you can help us and here's how we'll help you. Isn't that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if that works out, that sounds great.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds great.
I mean, that's what it all
That's
came
the
together in my
plan.
head as.
Okay,
And if the timing doesn't work, then we would postpone our marketing meeting until it did work.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's at least a placeholder.
great.
Okay, so with that in mind, is there a motion to end this meeting, adjourn?
I'll make a
Oh.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
At 6:08.
Yep,
Okay,
went for an
thanks.
hour almost exactly.
Yeah. All right, see y'all soon.
right.
Okay,
Thanks,
take
guys.
care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for putting up with me.